Well, Mark Robinson, a very upbeat interview in recent days with the experienced midfielder Alex Woodyard. How important is it that the rest of the squad share that positivity and enthusiasm at this stage of the season?
Yeah, obviously it's really important, but I think they just feed off each other, Chris. I think the way Alex is feeling is just his feelings are a product of the environment and how everyone feels and how everyone behaves in the building. So, I don't think it's just Woody. I think the environment that they're creating themselves, what the staff are creating, that provides that upbeat feeling and that feeling of wanting to come to work and improve and get better and get results.
And it certainly helps when a hero from the past comes along to the training ground for a visit. Tell us who came today and the impression he made on the players.
Yeah, Terry Brown come down, so I'm in regular contact with Terry. We speak at least once a month, if not more sometimes, for hours about football. So yeah, he said he'd love to come down, so I said it'd be fantastic if he'd come down. So yeah, he come down this morning, and we give him a little welcoming presentation so that he could have a 15-minute chat with the lads. So yeah, it was great to have him here.
How important, therefore, to remind the players of that past history, because some of them won't know who Terry is, and to remind them that this was what Wimbledon was about?
Yeah, it was quite interesting really, because you've got some of the academy lads who are 18, 19 who can remember him. That shows how long they've been here. So they remember Terry. But yeah, it was great for the the newer players like Woody and even Joe. I didn't realise Joe obviously didn't. He knows Terry and he knows about Terry. But it was great for him to meet everyone. And the word legend and can be used far too loosely, but in Terry's case, it certainly isn't.
Certainly that season when the club got promoted into the Football League, played some fantastic football. You look at the Fleetwood game, one of the best Wimbledon performances of recent times. How much did you admire that team?
It was great, and it was brilliant. And as I got to know Terry more and more, that's what we always used to talk about football and the style of play and how he wanted to play. And we were great to watch. There was some great games there. And the great thing with Terry is, someone who we've got working with us now always said, you wouldn't want to work in an environment unless you can be your true authentic self, which I thought was a really powerful thing to say. And you think about that, and that was the great thing with working with Terry, is that he made you feel you could be yourself, that you could go to him and say things. I remember the first time when I was doing the youth team and Tel watched the game, and I thought he'd been a little bit negative about our centre halves, and I didn't know him that well then, and I wanted to talk to him. And I remember Nigel was like, "No, he's the first team manager, just leave it." But I felt like I could, and I remember I went and had a meeting with him and chatted to him and said, "Oh, Tel, listen, I just thought he was a bit negative," and we ended up having a laugh about it. And I think he respected that, but that's how he made you feel. He felt that you could go and say things, and by the same token, he'd tell you how he felt, and it was just a great relationship that I had with him that's just grown and grown.
And at that time, 10 years ago, you really fed off the enthusiasm and the upbeat nature of the club, because the centre of excellence came about, and you really helped push that on, didn't you?
Yeah, I mean it was a big change for us at the time, because all the lads were playing Sunday League football, and then when we got promoted, I remember we all went up to Luton. All the staff, we all went up to Luton, and obviously, everyone wanted us to get promotion, but we knew at the same time if we got promoted we had to go for centre of excellence status, which was a whole new ball game for us. So literally after we got promoted, the next day we were all in planning how we were going to get centre of excellence status, because it meant our young players then would be playing other professional teams, which was huge. But again, it was a proud moment for us, because we actually got centre of excellence status quite comfortably, even though the facilities weren't quite there in terms of what we were doing, and that was because Nigel kind of always gave us the remit to try, have it ready for when we got promoted, and obviously Terry and the players made that happen.
And Terry even said in his interview we did with him before that perhaps Robbo's move into first team management is a few years overdue. We've seen you talking passionately out there with other coaches. How much are you relishing every day now?
Yeah. I'm absolutely loving it. every minute of it. People keep, you know, because obviously we are where we are, and people keep saying to me, "How are you?" which is nice because I think they're concerned. But I'm loving it. I'm loving coming into work every day, working with the players, with the staff. You know, as I said, the environment's fantastic, and I'm thoroughly enjoying it. Obviously, we want more points on the board, and that'll come. But in terms of pressure, you know, as I said, I've always put myself in high pressurised situations outside of football, which I think is serving me well now, because I'm thoroughly enjoying every minute of it.
It's been a different week this time around because we haven't had a midweek game. What's it been like? Have you sensed a real hunger from staff and players to get down to training ground methods?
Yeah, it's been good, and you know, there's also within that been some players who have played Saturday, Tuesday for weeks and weeks and weeks, so it gives us the opportunity to give them a little bit of a rest, but then the bulk of the group we've been able to work with, so it's been a good mixture. So we've freshened up a little bit where we felt we need to, so that they can go again ready for Saturday, but at the same time we've had a nice big group where we can work on things. So no, it's been a good week, and got another good day tomorrow morning.
Team news looking ahead to Saturday. Ethan Chislett, is he in contention for the squad?
Yeah, Ethan's looking bright. His little Achilles problem seems to have settled down nicely. So he's been training, and he trained the full session today as well. So no, he's looking sharp. He's looking bright.
Dan Choker?
Yeah, good news with Dan. It's nowhere near as bad as we thought. So he did a modified session today. So it was non-contact, and he said it's a little bit sore. But he's okay, so it was just heavy bruising, so he'll be training again tomorrow.
We heard from Tim Maynard the other day about Paul Callan-By. Is he a little bit away still, but he certainly looks good on the video clips?
Yeah, a little bit, and again he trained non-contact today, so just to get him in the balls and, you know, get him back on the balls in a kind of game situation, but it was non-contact. So yeah, so Paul's well on his way back, which again is really good news. Obviously we're not having DJ.
A couple of others we haven't spoken about recently. Sam Walker, what's his situation?
Yeah, so Sam's injury is going to be a little bit long term, so he's actually returned to Reading to get his treatment and rehab, so he'll be getting his treatment there. But yeah, so his injury is longer term. Yeah.
Shayon Harrison obviously had that debut. Is he making good progress?
He is. I had a chat with Shayon yesterday, and I don't know how quickly just yet, but he's really pleased, and it looks like he might be slightly ahead of schedule, but he's a real positive lad, so I'm a big believer if you attack things, even injuries, with positivity, things tend to heal quicker. So he's a real positive lad, so yeah, he had a big smile on his face, and he seems a little bit ahead of schedule, which is great.
Great to see Ryan Longman back on the score sheet last Saturday, and he's eight goals this season. Joe Pickett's got 15. Is that perhaps suggesting over-reliance on those two players in terms of goals?
It does, and I think, you know, moving forward, again, looking at the bigger picture, I think that's why it's key to have a style of football where you get more goals from everywhere. Because, you know, if you are reliant on one or two players and you lose a player due to injury, you could be losing 80% of your effectiveness. So although you always want your goal scorers, of course you do, and your men who score goals, I think if you can play a style where you can get other players chipping in with 5s and 6s and 7s, then, you know, if you have an injury, then basically you can still remain a real effective outfit. So that's something moving forward that we'll be looking for from more goals all over the pitch, but at the same time not losing the goals from people like Joe and Longy.
Terry mentioned in his interview before, he loves the approach of 80% us, 20% them, and we really focus on what we can do. I take it this has never been more important than on Saturday, that you don't get bogged down in that battle.
Yeah, and I think when you say that 80% us, 20%, then people worry that, you know, you're not worrying about them enough, but it's not. It's about that 20% has to be looking at the real detail, but it's so key that if you want to play the style of football that we want to play, and you want to breed confidence in players and make them feel empowered, that so much of what you're talking about is what we do. You know, otherwise they will go out on the pitch just worrying about the opposition. So it's key that, you know, they realise what the threats the opposition can offer collectively and as individuals, but it's also so key they realise what good players they are and what they can achieve.
Okay, thanks for joining us, Mark.
Cheers, Chris.